Hello and welcome back to the Hallmarkies podcast. I'm Kari, your host, and with me is
Hey everybody, I'm Ann. Nice to be with you guys again this week.
I know this week is what we say because we've been doing this every Friday for the past 3 weeks and just anticipating the new Murder She Baked movie coming up by remembering the past movies, which we love. So all today we will be able to talk about Just Desserts, which is the fifth movie, and then it came out in 2017. And that is a long.
Wow. Yeah, that's a long time ago, especially with a pandemic. It feels like even longer ago.
It does. It does. And so we need this new
Yeah.
movie, Murder She Baked, although it's rebranded. It's
Yeah.
not Murder She Baked
Mm-hmm.
anymore. It's A Hannah Swenson Mystery. So the
Yes.
title, Sweet Revenge, and A Hannah Swenson Mystery, which is what the books are called, actually. So
Oh, okay. They're called Hannah Swenson Mysteries.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So it's not Murder She Baked. They're called Hannah Swenson Mysteries. And so hopefully that means we'll get many more.
Hopefully. And to anybody, I just recorded it on my Philo and it is under Hannah Swenson Mysteries, and Murder She Baked is two different things. So if you have it recorded under Murder She Baked, it's not going to record on Sunday. So make sure you record it under Hannah Swenson Mysteries for Sunday.
Really, really good insight. And I'm so glad that you said that because they are trying to rebrand this series and it's almost like two different things now.
Yeah.
Same characters that we love, a lot of the same people coming back, but different brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that premieres on August 8th, which is this Sunday. You will not want to miss it. But
Yes.
before that happens, let's jump in and talk about the last movie in the Murder She Baked series, which is Just Desserts. I do want to make sure that we're going to talk spoilers. We're going to talk whole movie. So fair warning, if you have not seen these yet, you're going to
Yeah.
get that from us. Some spoilers. As always. I mean,
Yes.
they're older movies.
Yeah,
So
at this point they are older, so
I assume people have seen them and
yeah.
join in on the fun of recapping them. But good. Okay, so Just Desserts. And what do you think of this movie, Just Desserts?
I like this movie. I think it's still fun, and it's got like, we still have, Dolores is still just, Dolores, um Mike and Hannah are dating, and it's a fun movie. It's got, red herring and different things going on,
Yeah,
that aren't connected that you think are at first, and so it keeps you
yeah.
guessing too. So,
It did. I thought as the mysteries go, this one was so intriguing to me because it had a lot of suspects, a lot of new characters come in because we have
yeah.
two main things happening here in the movie. We have this bake off
Mhm.
with Hannah's Bakery, and we have the playoffs with basketball, the high school basketball team,
Yeah.
which everyone is super into, by the
Mhm.
way.
Especially Andrea in the beginning of the movie.
She is because she has a baby at home now, and she's like, the baby's at home. I am totally into this. I don't know.
Yes.
Like
This is adult speak. I'm good with this. I just want to be
exactly.
with adults.
Exactly. I thought that was so cute. So we have two kind of storylines happening, and
Mhm.
for a long time the mystery seems interconnected. It could,
Yeah, it does for most of the movie.
yeah, it really does for most of the movie. Like we have the bake off is happening and Hannah figures out someone's really is sabotaging the bake off and wanting certain judges on
Mhm.
the panel. And so we have that kind of shenanigans happening.
Yeah.
And then with the basketball, I mean, tempers are high. The coach
Yeah.
actually doesn't end up, I don't know, he's kind of a sleazy guy, is what we find.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's true.
Coach
And
Boyd, I mean, he gets put on the Bake Off panel, judges
mhm.
panel, and then, he as
That's where the overlap is, but
that's the overlap. And he is the one who ends up being murdered. It's a
mhm.
hit and run kind of suffocation. thing. I'm sorry I
Yeah.
laughed at that point. I mean, it was just like nervous laughter, I guess. That's not
Yeah. Yeah. But
so. A funny thing to me about the murder actually was that Hannah did not find the body.
I thought the same thing. I thought, oh my gosh, it's not Hannah finding it. Like she's with Mike when he gets a call, but
Yeah,
Norman's the one who stumbles on this body.
yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is different.
So different. And it was funny because one of the gossips in the bakery, she actually said something like that. Well, at least Hannah didn't find it. This
Yeah, exactly. That was funny.
yeah,
I love how they really, keep everything continuing in the movies, like those ladies and the things that they say and the things
yeah.
Dolores says, they keep it going each time. So
They do, which makes it such a strong series to me. That
yeah, because it makes it seem like a real consistent community, because you usually always see like the same people and you coming in and out of the bakery in that town, so
now one thing is the bakery different?
yeah, it's definitely different. I was looking, I was like, this is definitely not the same bakery. Like it looks like a
No,
completely different location.
with no explanation unless I missed it.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear any explanation. They just showed it from the street view, and I was like, that looks like it's like in a completely different city. Like the way it looks is so like it's in New York or something, not like it's in like some town. I don't know. It just looked really different.
It was so different, and even the inside, how it was set up. So you kind of
Yeah.
wonder. I mean, maybe there's an explanation for it, but that got cut in editing or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Or they just like really couldn't get that location. I don't know what
Oh, true.
happened.
That's
But different cookie jar location for sure.
still cute as button,
Yeah.
still one I want to go visit, but it
Yeah.
definitely different. So she yeah, so she is her kind of normal self, finding, things that are curious, following leads, trying to get involved. Or maybe not just trying, but she just can't help herself getting involved,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
in figuring this stuff out. So let's
Mhm.
talk about her personal life because in this movie it does affect the case, as in all of them. I guess they all do that. But where are we at here with her personal life? You said she was dating Mike.
Mhm.
We know that.
Yeah, we learn that she's dating Mike because, of course, Dolores says something about how, Norman's been seen all over town with, dating women and,
Yeah.
because that's her pick. So she makes sure Hannah knows,
Yeah.
that. And Andrea mentioned something about, how her and Mike are dating and she should ask
Mhm.
Mike on a date. And yeah.
Yes. Because they kind of are, they're busy and they haven't seen each other often and they
Yeah.
trying, but anyway, he ends up pulling away from her. So they do have a little bit of relational
Yeah.
conflict because
Mhm.
I mean, this has kind of been a running theme for him. He can't keep her safe as he wants to.
Yeah.
He
Mhm.
wants to tell her to get out of the way and stay out of the case, but she doesn't do that. So now he's going to try to keep her right by his side, but they have a car accident, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can't do put on the brake lines are messed up and so he can't stop and so they're like swerving and trying not to hit people and he's right there with her and yeah, I mean he can't keep her safe. He's just trying to control the car at that point and hope that they'll both be okay.
Yeah, and I think that just kind of triggers him
Yeah, with his
thinking
wife.
with his wife and who passed only a few years before
Mhm.
that. And he's like, I can't keep her safe. So he really does start to pull back. And I think they really introduce the issue of grief really well in that regard.
Yeah, I think they did. Like for Hallmark, I thought they really did do that really well because they show him like talk to his sister about it and like him tell her like explain it, not
Yeah,
just not explain things like they do in some other things that we've
right.
talked about recently. He expounds upon like why it makes him,
Yeah,
uncomfortable and just how it makes, him feel
yeah,
and because of that grief that is still dealing with and has dealt with and yeah.
yeah. I thought that was a really tender moment between him and the sister of his wife. So
Oh,
sister-in-law.
sister-in-law, that's right. Yeah.
sister-in-law. It was a really tender moment between them where she's so supportive and
Mhm.
kind of asks him the right questions to
Yeah.
like a little counseling session right there in the beautiful
Yeah.
way, you know?
Yeah.
Asks him the right questions and he fleshes it out in a way that I didn't feel like they were just telling us things, but we really were experiencing the grief
Mhm.
and process with him. It was a great
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It was really good. I thought they was done very well, and
Yeah,
that Cameron, conveyed it well with the emotion and then how he was talking about it.
yeah, yeah. Which, though, in true Hallmark fashion, was misinterpreted by Hannah when she saw him with a woman that
Yes.
she didn't recognize.
Of course. Who's this unrecognizable woman? God forbid you actually talk to communicate with somebody, ask them, who's this woman I saw you having saw
Yeah,
you eating with or what.
absolutely not. We're not going to do that. No
Yeah,
way.
that's crazy.
So she misunderstands and, she thinks he's breaking up with her at one point when he's like, Hannah, I just, he's trying to like tell
Yeah.
he's
She's
ready for the next step, the commitment, and she's like,
yeah.
I get it. She thinks he's breaking up with her.
Yeah, yeah. And he's like, no, you're telling me that you don't get it from what you're like acting like. Like, no, like I want us, I want you, I want us to be together. And the AD lady's like pulling her away to go back to set. And he's like, Hannah, tell me, like, what's your answer? And she's like, Mike, and she's
Yeah,
just like, I was just like, oh my gosh, Mike's heart is dying right now.
I know. I'm like, give him something. Give him like a
Yeah.
smile. Like, I'm so glad to hear you say that. Let's talk later,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
but she didn't.
Ah,
She didn't give him
dramatic.
anything.
Yeah.
So, while we have this time that Mike is trying to process his grief and trying to figure out if he's ready for that next step with Hannah, he's doing his job and she kind of ropes Norman in to her mystery hijinks again.
Yeah.
I know, and not in maybe a creepy way. I mean, he's the basketball coach, the temporary basketball coach after the other
Yeah.
coach was murdered. So there's ways that it makes sense that he's involved. Kind of, he has a lab, he understands chemistry,
Yeah,
the
yeah, that's
poisoning and stuff.
true. Mhm.
But I was still like, don't go right back to Norman.
Mhm.
Don't do that. But I think what they showed was just that friendship chemistry that we keep
Yeah, yeah.
going back
That
to.
we've mentioned. Yeah.
Mhm.
Then you feel bad for Mike though, because they show up with what they have out of the dumpster, and there he has to flash back and see Hannah and Norman sitting there together. And he's like,
Yeah,
"Oh yeah, we found this," and he's just like,
I know.
you can see that he's like behind his eyeballs, that he's disturbed, slightly. So.
Totally. I think so too. I think that he was just like, wait a minute. I just don't like
Right.
together.
Yeah. Why
Because
are you reaching out to Norman? Like, this is our thing. Like,
yeah. Well, the funny part about Norman and Mike to me, this movie, was that they actually had some scenes where they, you know, they had scenes together and
Yeah.
trying to get the one basketball player, to come answer questions
Hmm.
and stuff. And Norman kind of stands up to him. And I thought
Yeah.
Norman had quite the backbone in this movie.
Yeah, he did. He was like, Mike, you can't talk to this kid without his lawyer. Like, are you crazy? Like, no, it
I
doesn't sound
know.
like you're trying to help him.
Yeah.
No. I was like, okay, Norman, good for you. You're in the right this time. Mike
I
needs
know
to
he was
talk to the
totally
person
right.
with their parent. Yes.
Yeah. And he totally, with the last movie that we had a dumpster dive scene, he
Mm.
stood on the outside and she went in the dumpster. But
Yeah.
this movie, he goes head first into the dumpster to
Yeah,
get
they got the feet
yeah,
flailing scene. Yeah.
his feet are up and she's the one standing outside. So the whole
Yeah.
time, I still don't want Norman for Hannah, but I
Yeah.
really appreciate that they have him as a solid character in the series.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even
And that
though she didn't,
they're just still showing what he has to offer, even though he's not
yes,
offering it to Hannah in a romantic way.
yeah,
He's still a good man, a good part of the community,
yep,
and he still has other things to offer because he's a good, nice community man.
he
And I'm glad
is.
that they show him that way. That's good, because a lot of times they just make it a wrong guy, and then they're just wrong and just mean and just
Yeah.
not
totally
the
one
business. Yeah,
dimensional.
exactly. One dimensional.
Yeah, I'm the wrong guy, so now I'm gone. But he's
Mm-hmm.
not gone. He's there, and
Yeah.
I love it. I think that gives me hope for what's to come, possibly on Sunday with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
I'm excited for that too.
Oh yeah. Okay, so even though maybe they're not exactly on the same page this time, Hannah and Mike, they still deliver on that chemistry.
Yes.
Really do.
When they're like watching the footage
Yeah.
in the wherever they are, I guess wherever they
I
are
know.
watching the footage, and Mike's like, of course, Mike, he's always trying to make some like sweet moment in the middle of like mystery, solving stuff, and
He totally
has
is.
this like sweet like kiss with her, and she's like, you're not even looking at the footage, like you did.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, he's not. He's trying to have a moment with you right now. And
Totally. And I don't know if it's their soap opera background, but they really like lean into those scenes. I feel like they like
they
milk
do.
them.
Oh
They
my gosh. Like, I
yes.
guess I don't know if like you said, like maybe like, I guess I mean I've seen soap operas before, but maybe they're just so used to like being close to people's face because like yeah, like they'll be like talking to each other, like he's like saying something to her, like when he has to pick up the phone at the end of the movie and he's like, oh, and he's like rubbing her nose almost. He's
Yeah.
like so close to her face. I'm like, oh my
I
So yeah, I think
totally-
they have, maybe it's that soap opera like physical, I don't know, or just that they've been working for years, or just that they both are soap opera actors, and they're just used to, that
yeah.
kind of stuff. That's
I
more
mean,
intimate.
definitely. And I noticed that in this movie for sure is that like those scenes together were they weren't I mean, they just knew how to do them. They knew how to like get
Yeah.
the
And
most
it's
out of the
comfortable.
yeah, get the most out of the scene, get the most out of the emotion there and create emotion because of the physical proximity. So
Yeah.
I thought they were great. They
Yeah.
totally delivered on that chemistry that we love, the Hull spark that they have.
Yes, the Hall Spark. That's right. They really do have that.
They
It's
do.
great. That's why I'm so glad like they brought this series back, because that was something I always like really saw, was just how they had a connection and just had that spark, and that you could feel that. And that's, chemistry for me in a movie is like really important.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if there's not like at least a certain level of chemistry, it really can hurt the movie. And the better the chemistry, a less well-written story can be better. So it can really help elevate, so
I totally
yeah.
agree. And there was one on the Hallmarkies podcast one time, we interviewed Benjamin Ayers, and we were talking about some chemistry that you have it with, you
Mhm.
have it naturally with some, and you really try to create it with others. And
Yeah.
there are some movies that, even as an actor, he thinks that might end up better as with a handshake and a
Mm.
thanks for your time. This was fun type of thing instead of
Yeah.
kiss at the end. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's a funny
That's
way to put that.
yeah, that is.
End it with a handshake this time.
I mean, I'm trying to remember. It's like only one movie I can think of like where I don't think they kissed, and I was just like, what channel is this? Am I in the right place? Like what? And it was only because it was a wedding march movie, and so I guess it was the couple in the movie, and it
Yeah.
wasn't Olivia and Mick.
Yes.
So they had, their storyline, and they're, the main couple. They were,
Yeah.
but I don't think Cindy and Tyler, I don't believe that they actually kissed in that movie.
Really? Oh,
And I
I
was
should.
so
Really,
shocked. I was like, what is going on?
we have some heinies who could probably confirm
Yes,
that
they
for
will
us.
correct me, I'm sure, if I'm wrong.
Well, I'm interested in that too. I definitely remember when they started making writing scripts for Hallmark that did not end up we're together, we're getting married, we're going to have happily ever after. There's been a handful where it's like we don't really know what's ahead of us, but
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah. We
like
want to
each
try to
other.
work it out, but we don't really know like what's exactly gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There have been.
Yeah, there have been. So it doesn't always end down on one knee. But
Yeah.
I do like that this one ends down on one knee.
Well,
metaphor.
technically, yeah. And that's actually something I have a problem with
Do you?
personally. Yeah, I'm like, so you're gonna make this be the last movie, and then we don't even get a real proposal if you think you're never gonna revisit this series again. I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to see Mike ask her like to marry him like officially.
That's true.
Especially like, yeah, then I was like, then they're like, oh yeah, like they're not coming back. And I was like, it can't end like that.
No.
We didn't even get the one knee. Like I want a wedding, but I was like, we didn't even get to like see it. So
No, we didn't. And they have this, like, he saves her, of course, and she saves him. They really kind of become a team in the library, and they save the situation together. So, and then she like says yes, and he says yes to what?
yeah.
And she said yes to all of it or something. Like, he
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
even say anything. And then we have a 2 months later.
Yeah.
They're on their way to their engagement party.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you go, oh, wait a minute.
They're engaged, but we missed the ring exchange. We missed the ring moment.
We missed the moment. We need
And
the
now
moment.
they're running out of the place.
I know. And now they're running out. They're not even going to go to their party because he could.
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, you're gonna rob us of like some kind of moment like right now.
Yeah.
But
So
I'm so glad we're getting more.
well, me too. And I was nervous that we were going to pick up 4 years later. But because
Yeah.
that's real time 4 years later.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to do that, which, thank God they're not going to do that, because
Yeah.
we want to see them engaged. We want to see them
Yeah.
plan a wedding possibly, or
Yes.
we know that's not going to happen. They're not going to plan the wedding actually, but
Yeah.
he's going to get distracted and solve a murder, and
Yeah, and Dolores is gonna drive them insane. So-
yeah.
We'd like to take a second from this episode of the podcast to celebrate our sponsor of this episode, and that is the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast?
Do you want an inside scoop into what happens on the podcast?
Do you want early access to episodes and loads of cool perks?
Now is the time to become a patron of Hallmarkies Podcast.
By becoming a patron, you get to access our patron Facebook group.
You can request episodes or even be a guest on the podcast.
And most importantly, any patron can join our monthly movie watch-alongs with stars like Paul Campbell, Natalie Hall, and more.
It's as low as $2 a month to join in and become a special part of the Hallmarkies family.
Please consider, and we will love you forever.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies. So 4 years later, they're engaged, and we can just jump right into talking about this next one, this preview coming up, unless you have a couple more things, last thoughts on Just Desserts.
I don't think so. I think Allison Sweeney did a great hobble the whole movie. That had to be very difficult. Like, okay, I got to keep remembering the hobble. Like, I can't run, I can't walk. Like, I have to keep like doing this. And I've always thought, like, even though it's like something that we think is easy, but like to have to keep remembering that and trying to remember what you're supposed to say and where you're supposed to be hobbling, like as you're going, like that would be hard to like do all that at the same time.
That is such a good point. It made me wonder if it truly was a script choice or if she was hurt in real life.
Yeah, I was actually wondering that too. I was wondering like, okay, is this like a cover and that because she's actually hurt, or is it like, was it actually the way that her character was supposed to be?
I know.
Hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, because she legitimately gets hurt by falling down these stairs, and they really make it part of the storyline. She can't run away, when she needs to. And
yeah.
I mean,
which usually she needs to be able to run. So she like really can't this whole movie. She's just kind of hobbling around the school at the end. Like,
Well, as a 5-part series for Murder, She Baked, I think it's so strong. I recommend it to everybody who wants the good story of a mystery, but also the romance part of it. We love how these two merge together to make this great series. So
Yeah, it's definitely one of the strongest mysteries on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. So if you guys haven't watched it and somehow you're still watching this podcast or listening, you need to go watch Murder She Baked. It's really good.
go watch and then tune in for the premiere of, series premiere, basically, if they're trying to rebrand it. But
Yeah.
Sweet Revenge, a Hannah Swenson Mystery on Sunday night. So let's talk about that one. I have a tiny little blurb here.
Okay.
Give us a tiny little insight of what's going on. So it says the newest installment airing this summer, which is now. Hannah and Mike Kingston are now engaged and managing busy careers when a murder occurs at Hannah's gym. However, their wedding plans get complicated as Hannah's needs for sleuthing begins to impact Mike's investigation.
Uh-oh.
So that's not news to us. Hannah's sleuthing always impacts his investigation.
Yeah. Did you see the preview? Yes. Well, I guess there's a new lady in town and she's all business and not about some bakery fiance helping her fiance investigate.
I love that. That was hilarious when I first saw that preview. And the lady says, does she always get involved in your cases? And he's like, no, not always.
Always. They're like, Mike, this is a 6 movie, Mike. Okay, sure.
I know. Come on, Mike. Of course she does. So that was a fun switch that I saw from the very first movie, Murder, She Baked, to the very last movie, Just Desserts, that we just talked about. His acceptance and encouragement of her getting involved in his cases was a total 180. I mean,
yeah.
He was like, come on, let's go,
Yeah, exactly. He's like, well, if I don't take you, you're just gonna follow me, right? And she's like, yeah. Like, okay.
I know.
I love that.
So they have this rhythm. So now this new lady, whoever she is gonna challenge that. And who do you think that is? As like, is she
in the character? I don't know. I'm trying to think if she's like some lady who's coming in from out of town for some reason,
right?
Or she just like some new head person in the department in Eden Lake. Like, I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because I wondered. I thought, is Bill Todd the new sheriff, or is she the sheriff?
Yeah, they could be making a 2021 move. Powerful females in powerful positions. Yeah, I don't know.
So that'll be fun to see who that is. And the other thing I want answered is, what are these period costumes?
Yes.
I mean, they all look fantastic in these period costumes, but I'm like, what is going on? It's obviously a party.
Yeah, I just was watching On Location video, and Allison Sweeney said that was like the main reason she chose this book. I guess from the original books to base it off of, or whatever. She was like, yeah, when I read about this Regal costume, I was like, oh, we have to do this one. Like, this is gonna be so good. Like, I know that the fans will love it. I'm gonna love wearing like this, and it'll be something different, and it's, I think, a party. I think somebody said some kind of party her mother's throwing for some reason.
Okay.
Dolores,
do you remember what book it was based off of?
Oh, she didn't say. She just said, she didn't say the name of the book and the On Location.
Because I want someone to tell me which book this is off of. They're not always called what the movie is called. So I'm like, okay, which one? Like the last one, Just Desserts, was actually a strawberry shortcake mystery.
Okay.
Book. That was the book title. But I would love to know. Because sometimes I like reading the books after the movies, but I'm going to wait. I want to save it. I want to see how this plays out with Hannah and Mike and Norman and everybody.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. Like, you brought up that she picked the book and the storyline possibly because she is the producer. She's a producer on this series now. Which is
awesome. Yeah.
Oh, I know. Okay. So what else do you think we can expect, or what do you want to see in this next movie on Sunday?
So I, after like rewatching this, it's kind of like the last 3 movies, it's like they always kind of like they always kind of like put Mike in some like kind of weird position where he couldn't like fully just like, but
Yes.
I feel like he's stuck again. Like this writer, she just wants to just put Mike under the microscope and burn him or something. Like, I don't know. Like, because now, yeah, this lady's like going to be watching him. And so it's like, okay, now like they're not allowed to like ride together and like be seen interacting or talking. So
Right.
she's always giving him like hurdles and stuff to like, deal with. So bless his heart. I just want them to be able to have some, just good moments for one whole movie.
I know, which he needs to, hopefully he needs to give her some sort of consulting role or something so that it makes sense that she's there.
Yeah. They really should do that. I mean, everybody in the town knows that she's good at solving these mysteries.
Everybody knows.
Every person in the whole town. So it's like, at this point, they should just give her a consulting role so she has a reason to be doing all the things that she's so good at.
Exactly. They totally do. Well, I'm super excited for this movie, definitely for just the continuation of the character development of these characters that we know and love, but also because these are tried and true good mysteries. They're really interesting. They're written well, and just the mystery aspect of it. Sometimes you think Hallmark can't come up with a new mystery, but they can.
They really can. And Cameron Matheson in the On Location video, he was saying the fans do not understand how good this movie is going to be and how many twists and how many turns, and they are not going to know who did it because this movie is really good. That's what he said.
Okay.
You guys can go watch the On Location video, but that's what he said. So he said it's going to be really good. I mean, you give me Cameron and Norman, both, handsome men in the Regency costumes. That's, another addition that I do want to see.
Yes.
I guess Hannah's like joining a gym. And so she's like, in the gym when this
happens. Getting ready for her wedding.
Trying to get in a little, even though she looks amazing, maybe she just wants to.
She always does. In fact, she's an actress I just totally respect about, just kind of how she presents herself, how she puts herself together, how she throws herself in roles. I mean, I think she's so natural. And I love her.
She is.
Yeah.
She's great. Alison Sweeney, she's really great. She seems like a great person, and she does these different roles in these movies, rom-com and, mystery, like so well.
She really does. She does. And so much so that even having another mystery series in the Chronicle Mysteries, she's just so different.
They're two totally different characters.
Totally different characters that you're like, oh yeah, that's Alison Sweeney. And so that's just shows the professional that she is. But yeah.
Oh, okay. So did you know in this new movie that somehow we're getting her baby sisters coming to town?
No.
Yeah. Okay. This On Location video has so much information that nobody knows about. I just went to YouTube and was watching like all the stuff. Yeah. Apparently Hannah's baby sister, who has darker hair than her and Andrea, kind of interesting, is coming to town. And I think maybe they couldn't get Andrea, but, or the actress, but they still wanted her to have a sister. But I'm like, have we ever heard that she had another sister? I don't remember that.
Wait a minute. Did she have? We've
Yeah.
never heard of this other sister.
I know. I'm like, have we ever heard of her? And now she's coming. But yeah, so
that explains this. I wrote in my notes a sassy, dark-haired friend.
Yes, and that's her. That's
Okay, so this is the sister. Well, I am intrigued. Where has she been?
Yeah. For the past 5 movies, have they ever mentioned her? Like, I don't think so.
Okay, well, this will be fun. This will be really fun. Oh my God.
Maybe she'll be a suspect. I have no idea. Who knows at this point?
Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, everybody, be sure to tune in to Sweet Revenge, a Hannah Swenson mystery on Sunday night. Tell us what you think in the comments. Tell us what you want in the series to come. We would love to hear your opinions and interact with you on YouTube here in the comment section. Give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Also, definitely subscribe to and watch Hallmark podcasts or Hallmarkies podcasts all over social media. We love to interact with you all over. So, yeah, thanks so much for joining us today. And any last thoughts on the murder mysteries that we're talking about here?
I'm just so glad they revived it and they're bringing it back. And I hope all the fans support it so we can have more movies because the series is so great.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at awscott21.
Great. And come find me over on Instagram at Hallmark Comics. That's Hallmark_comics. I'd love to interact with you there. But for now, thanks so much for joining us in celebrating Murder, She Baked and the future of the Hannah Swenson Mysteries. And let's have a great time on Sunday. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.